Okay, so we'll be going forward then, right? Okay, so okay, so remember, if at any point you can't hear me, please just let me know. Okay, so as we already know, CSS refers to cascading style sheet. So what it means in summary is basically talking about the HTML that you already have, how to style it. So it's just like an empty house and how you can make that empty house that is just meant, how you can make it colorful to become that fine house you want. Just an empty car like that does not even have any paint. How when you paint it and then it becomes like fine and all. That's what CSS does to HTML, and then there's JavaScript that does the functionalities. So in today's, we're going to be taking CSS colors, and when we talk about CSS colors, we're not talking about anything unique or different. We are talking about colors, the different colors that just colors, how you can actually color whatever elements, whatever thing that is in your HTML. That is basically what CSS color is all about. You get? So okay, so just like we can see, so I'm using W3 School to do the class. So that means you can also just Google W3 School and then we can go through this together. Remember, if you have any questions, you can just reach out and then we can get all that clarified before we go forward. So just like I've said, CSS colors deals with coloring your HTML. So just like we have here, so this is a box, and then they are giving it a particular color. Is anybody saying anything? Okay, so I feel like everyone else should mute their mic, and if you have any question, probably you indicate, and then so we'll be on the same page and stuff like that. Okay, so that's what the colors does, just like I said. So like for instance here we have this tomato color, and this is a block of probably a paragraph or a div, and then it was given a background color of tomato and then a text color of white. That's literally all color does. Helps you, like, okay, you give a background color and then you give a text color to suit whatever design you want to achieve. And so this is what like this guys did here. So they gave this guy a background color of orange and then they gave it a text color of white. And then they are doing it like they have a darker blue here, they have a medium sea green, different colors. So literally they are trying to like style a particular paragraph which includes a text of tomato, but they want the background color to be tomato and then the text color to be white, something around that. So let's just go through the overview and then we'll just specifically look at some examples before we move forward. Okay, so for instance, here we have the H1 style, we have background color, darker blue, and then there's a hello world. So okay, let's use this. So if we go through the try it yourself, we can just exactly see that they are trying to achieve this here. This here, sorry. So they are giving it, okay, it's taking long. We can just explain further. So this is a dark blue color. So they give it a background of darker blue and then they give it a text color of white. Like Gaskian, the definition of like colors is finished. You're just trying to like get a color and then style it and then use it in a particular way to probably differentiate the background and then the text. That's like all. So if this is loading slowly, but then when it does finish loading, we can use that particular example to like show other ones. So for here, I think this is tomato background color and then the white text. So that's like or let's just go down. Okay, so we have border colors and all. Okay, so summarily, just as I have said, CSS background deals with CSS colors, deals with the specific way you decide to like color whatever you have in your HTML. For you can decide to like color your background, your text, the borders, just as we can see that you can even style your borders, your the outline, and a lot of other things we'll be seeing as we progress. So when we come to colors, we have different kinds of colors. We have the RGB. So when we talk about RGB, we are talking about red, green. Why is the network slow? Okay, so sorry about that. So when we talk about colors, we are talking about the red, green, blue, right? So this is it's actually used to okay, so just as we have written here, each parameter defines the intensity of the color between 0 and 255. So between 0 and 255, 0 is there is no color, so it's black. 255 is there is full color, it's white for each. So we have, okay, sorry, we have red, we have green, and then we have blue. So that together makes the RGB. So to display black, you set all colors to 0. So sorry about background noise. So we have 000, and then we get a black. We have 255, we get a white. 255 for the three, for the red, green, blue, you get a white. So this is a kind of color. Remember, you can still decide to go with the conventional tomato, red, white, pink, like to see whatever color you are looking to like achieve, but this is another kind of color. So just like we can tweak here, so we have this RGB. So the red is at its peak 255, so it doesn't have 266 but 256, but it has, like we can see from here, it has 176 to 0, and it has up until 255. So the green does to 255, and then the blue too. So when it's all 255, it's white across. When it's like 255 across, the red, green, blue is white, and when it's 000, it's black. So I feel this helps you to be able to get a higher blend of colors, because I can decide to just use this. Okay, so this is 01, this is red is 0, green is 107, and blue is 0. So I'm getting a unique color, a unique color. So this actually helps to like give you more color combinations. that that sorry, this gives you like more color combinations. So is anybody saying anything? Ada Anthony, I feel your mic is on, so you can mute yourself. Thank you. Sorry, are you following with the class, everybody?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. So if you're following with the class, I'd like to see like an emoji or something to be sure like you're all following. Or if you have any questions, remember you can always reach out. Okay. So John Bass, your hands are raised. You can ask a question.
It's not a question. Like, I didn't know where the emoji is, so I just.
Okay, all right, thank you. So going forward, that's like what the red, green, blue does. So it helps you come up with more colors for you to use for your design. So as you can see in the example we have, so as you can see in the examples, we have these different colors. These are different color combination of red, green, blue that gave a particular new color. Yeah. So that's that about the RGB. You can decide to like try it out and play around it just as it's done here. So that's for one. So we have the second kind of color, which is hex. So when we deal with hex, we are dealing with so you know the first one we did was RGB. So now this is RR, GG, BB. and that's like how it comes up. That's like the convention. But now you're going to be using, okay, so the really might not just load up. So that's like literally how it is. So it's going to be six, right? 6 or 7. Just in a minute it's going to be up. So that's like what hex color does, right? Give me a minute, please. So the hex color in summary is also another kind of color that helps you to come up with more unique colors. Like if you're using the conventional red, pink, yellow, purple, you're going to run out of colors, right? So at some point you need a color, but the color is not really red, but it's reddish, but it's not really red. So that's where all these other kinds of color comes in. It helps you to be able to like pick it out. So it's almost going to be 255, but it's easing up to 255. But if you're using red, so it has to be just red. So that's like where this color comes in. I don't know why my network is taking slow to load up, but in the hex color, we are also looking at I'd like to show you the examples. So this isn't helping out. So sorry about that. Okay, finally. So that's it. So it's being denoted by, first of all, there has to be a hash, and then you start dealing with the RRGGBB. So if it's going to be white, it's going to be okay. Sorry, here's what I'm looking for. So hexadecimal values between 00 and FF, same as decimal 0 to 255. So we have in hexadecimal, we have color conventions from A to F, and then we have numbers from 0 to 9. That's how we pick the color. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's still the same thing, red, green, blue, right? But this time around, you're not going to be writing GG, No, you're going to be choosing color from like A to F, and then from 0 to 9. That's like how it denotes its color. So FF, if it's FFF into 6 places, right? Yeah, it's going to be a white. If it's 00000, it's going to be a black. So if it's going to be like in the middle, it's going to be like, okay, so I'm trying to like create a new color. I don't know what color this is, but from the hex color, it's saying that is hash 54BACO. Remember, you can't find a G inside this the hexadecimal, or an R, or a what's the color in the RGB code, or a G or an R or a B. Okay, you can find a B because it falls between A, B, C, D, E, F, E, F, and then you find numbers from 0 to 9. That's how the hexadecimal, the hex code, the hex color, sorry, works. So just as you can see, you can also tweak colors here to get whatever you want to get. But remember, it's not going to be like RGB, like you're expecting to get like an arrow something. I don't know, but I don't know if you're following. So these are the examples, and these are colors that you can get when you tweak them and more. So that's that about the hex. And then we have the HSL. So inside the HSL, we are dealing with hue, saturation, lightness. So hue is a degree on the color wheel from 0 to 360. So 0 is red, 120 is green, 240 is blue. So saturation is a percentage value, means a shade of gray, and 100 is the full color. And then lightness is a percentage. 0 is black, 50 is neither light or black, 100 is white. So with HSL, it's another kind of color that gives its own vibes altogether, just like you can see. So this is 0, 150. So if you want, you're using the hue because you want to get a color wheel that is between 0 to 360, right? With 0 being red, 120 green, and 240 blue. So, and then your saturation, you're trying to like add a touch of gray so that it's probably not full, but it's just somewhere in between. And then the lightness, that's that. But I use RGB and X all the time. So that's that about like okay. So these are examples of the HSL color code. Yeah. So you get, and then from a blend of hue, saturation, and lightness, you get whatever color you want to get. So I'm going to recommend like some color pickers that you can, or some color sites that you can go and then find out color. We have something like Color Picker, or you just whenever you just type like how do I get colors, Google would always recommend how you can get colors that you need for your design. So give me a minute. I'm trying to find opacity. So I am going to talk about yes. Okay. I'm going to talk about sorry, I didn't mention opacity and alpha. So yes, here it is. So I talked about RGB. I didn't talk about RGBA. So here it is. I don't know if you're still following with the class or if I'm talking to myself. Remember, you can always reach out if you stop following. I'd like to like clarify everybody and make sure we are on the same page. Thank you. So when we are talking about RGBA, we are adding alpha to the mix. So we have something that is called opacity, and then we have something that is called alpha. So let's start with alpha. So the alpha parameter is a number between 0.0 and 1. So it's between 0 and 1. So there's nothing like 1.2 in alpha. There's nothing like 1.02. No, it's just between 0 and 1. So it means it's between 0.2, 0.5, zero point 0.9, and then 1. So that's that. Yeah. No, I don't think there's a 1. Okay, so let's check if there's a 1. Okay, there's a 1. So what does it do? It adds like um it helps you like achieve transparency within the color. So I could have this. So let's say there is actually no, we are not adding any alpha here. And so we have this color. We have this color. Um, okay. Okay. So I don't know if you guys noticed anything, but when this is like this, we okay, I'm trying to get a shouty color. Okay. So the alpha, when it's between 0 and 0, it means it's fully transparent. So I'm just going to illustrate this by the example here. So when this alpha is 1, you see there is no change in this color. So this is going to be I don't know if this is a yellow or what, but it's going to be this color. It's not going to be transparent at all. So, but when you add an alpha, let's say you add an alpha zero point 0.5 alpha. So you see this color is no longer as shouty as it was. So it's trying to like make it be transparent. And as you continue to either decrease or increase the alpha, it continues to affect the color. It's not changing the color per se, but it's adding transparency to whatever color it's sitting. I don't know if you like get the idea of the alpha. So what it does is to like add, make it transparent. So I feel like we should use this is in an example. So let's try it ourselves here. So that's like the idea. So when you're using the alpha is going to be RGBA. That's red, green, blue, alpha. So it's literally adding transparency to the color you already have. So opacity kind of is very similar to that. I am going to find opacity here soon because it's here. So opacity is also very similar to that. But what opacity does is that it's, you see how this color is not affecting the text. This RGBA is not affecting it. So it's just affecting the color code That is the background. Oh, sorry. So this is the background color, and then this is the text color. The background color, I don't know if that thing is pink, but I'm going to assume it's pink. And then the text color is black. So we can still see that the text color is black and is not being affected by any wave of transparency. But the background, the pink background, is now very transparent. So the alpha does not affect whatever child element the background has. Or so it's actually a div, right? So the parent div has the background and then the text, and then there's a text, right? So the text is not being affected by the background color. But if it was opacity, the text would be affected. So we will just look out for example. So before we round off, we'll see opacity, and then you can understand in real time what opacity does. Okay, so here is an example. Make transparent colors with RGBA. So this is, I don't know what these colors are, but you can see this is the color code for them. So this is the first color, right? It should be a white because there is, oh, it's not actually a white, but because it is fully transparent, it's going to make it a white, so you can't see anything. You get, this is not a white. Remember, white is 255, 255, 255. But because the alpha is zero, right, it's making everything transparent, so you're not seeing anything at all. So and then we have 0.2. Now this is allowing you, okay, so this is actually the same color across. So that means that this last design, this last color here, this last H2, sorry, is actually the color, the main color, whatever color it is. So because one, remember, one says that there is no transparency, zero says there is full transparency. So like you can see, when it's full transparency, nothing they show. When it's 0.2 transparency, we can find something that looks like a pink. Yeah. When there is 0.4, it's still looking like a pink. I don't know what color this is, remember. I don't really want to know, Sha. But as the alpha keeps increasing, the transparency keeps decreasing and keeps decreasing until there is no transparency. So that's literally what the RGBA idea is all about. Okay, I don't know if you guys are still following or if I'm talking to myself. Hmm? I don't know if you guys are still following. Okay, so that's the idea. So so just as there is RGBA for the, so just as there's an alpha for RGB, there's also an alpha for the hex code. We didn't explore that also. There's an alpha here too. Okay, so why I'm still looking for the alpha. I am going to talk about. So remember when I spoke about the hex code, I said the six numbers, right? And then we talked about these different hex codes of color. So when it's going to be replicated across, for instance, if it's going to be white, it's going to be FFF. Okay, so let's see here. If it's going to be white, it's going to be FFF, right? FFF, right? Why is this FE? So FFF, that's right. So we could decide to use only three FFF and it will still be correct. When it's going to be zero or when it's going to be FE, 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 you can still decide to use like FE. No, okay, so let me use, I feel like an example would help us sort this out. So the point I'm trying to make here is most times if it's going to be the same color like FFF or 0000000 into six times, you can decide to go with the first three 000. It's still going to give you a black. If it's going to be FF into six times, you can still go with FFF and it's still going to give you a white. So sometimes you see a three-digit hex code in CSS source. So it's actually the shorthand for some six-digit hex code. So just like it. So just like you have FC9, so it means the same as FF CC99 F0F. So it's the same thing as double F, double zero, and double F. That's the same thing. So you don't necessarily need to continue writing zero until you have written a system to prove your point that it has to be black. No. So if it's going to be black, you can just go with 000, or you can just write black. Like it's that simple. You get? So that's the point. So I'm still looking for the opacity here because you have the A, you have the A. So okay, so let's assume it's going to be somewhere down because we still have to talk about it. But it's not somewhere down. It's not somewhere down. Okay, so let's remember we still have to talk about the hex, alpha, and opacity while I talk about the HSLA. Okay, so just as the RGB has an RGBA, the HSL also has an HSLA, right? The A stands for alpha, and the alpha still does the same thing across. So when it's fully transparent, it's at 0, and when it's less transparent, it's at 1. Just the same thing. So you have your hue, and it's up to 328, and then you have your saturation, you have your lightness, and then you have your alpha, whatever it is. So and that's like the idea. So the alpha idea is across. You're just adding an A to the RGB. You're adding an A to the hex code. You're adding an A to the HSL. So I think that's actually what makes this color, these kinds of color unique. Because if you're writing a red, you cannot add an A to a red. I mean, it's going to give you, it's going to be a redder, and there is no color that is a red A or red A. I don't know what it's going to become, but it's not a color type, and it wouldn't return a color for you. I don't know if you like get the point. So that's that. So I think like we've done a lot about color. So the opacity should be somewhere as you progress. I don't know how much time you have left. So going to CSS background. So as I've been talking, I've said a lot of things about background. It's nothing unique, it's nothing serious. It's just the environment you're doing whatever you're doing, right? So just like this, okay, let's open a new tab. So if this is a new tab, the background color we can see here is white. And then you have a text color, whatever color it is. We have an image and we have other things. But on default, the background color for these is white. You follow. So that's what background is all about. So what are you giving to background? Are you using an image? So if it's an image, how are you tweaking it? Is it going to be in the center? Do you want it to be somewhere? Do you want it to be scrollable? Do you want it to just stay one place? That's the idea. If it's a color, what color do I want? What color does the Figma come with? These are like things you have to like answer when you think about CSS backgrounds. But on default, just as this is a new page, the background color, as you can see here, is not an image, a white color. So we can go to different slides, just like the one we have here. We can see here that a background image was used, and it's a background image, right? So it was gotten from somewhere, and it was probably positioned to be in a particular style. So that's like summarily the idea of CSS background colors. Okay, CSS background. So we are starting with CSS background color. I feel like we've even talked about CSS background colors because while we were talking about colors, we were talking about background colors too. So, but let's explore this. Yeah, I think you're going to put opacity here. Okay, here is the opacity. Okay, so okay, let's explore this example. So, mm, hello world. So this the body has a background color of light blue, and then voila, there's a light blue color here as the background. It's not like there's no magic. Whatever color you give to a particular element. So here the body was picked. So you could decide to pick an anchor tag, you could decide to pick no, not an anchor tag, because an anchor tag is an inline element. You could decide to pick a paragraph, a div, a section, whatever, and then give it a definite background color, and it's going to take that shape. So that's that. Okay, maybe we can even go ahead and create a div here by ourselves, right? We could write, hey there, I I am learning CSS, and close it, right? Just give me a minute. Somebody's mic is unmuted. If you're not about to ask a question, please um could you mute yourself? So because the body here has been given the background of light blue, I feel like I want to take this out of here. Let's see what happens if I take this color out of here. If I take this color out of here, no magic is happening. The color is going to shift because on default, the background color is white. So, but I want to give my div a background color instead. I want to give my div. Somebody's mic is muted. Johnny, please, could you mute your mic? Johnny, could you mute yourself? Thank you. Now I don't know what page I was at. Okay, I think it's here. So we could decide to give our div that color, right? And we are giving it a background color, a background, a background color, oh God, of pink, right? We do that and run it. Voila, the div has a background color of pink. You could decide to also give the paragraph a background color. Oh God, it's very hard to write code here. And by the way, I hope every other person is using, you now have your VS Code installed and you are using VS Code to run your codes, right? I don't know if people are responding, but I hope so. But it is hard,
Yes, yeah.
very hard to write codes here. So let's give this an RGB. Let's use the RGB because we cannot be learning it in vain. Let's go and look for an RGB, RGB, RGB. Okay, let's carry this one. I'm not be learning this thing in vain. So let's carry this one. I don't know whatever color it is. Let's carry it and keep it here. Simple. So the background color you're using color a particular section of your code, a particular paragraph, div, or whatever place you want so that it fits. So if we look at the place here, so we see that this run has a different background color from the other ones because they are trying to prove a point. The one they run, they want you to look at the run first so that you know that okay, this is actually performing a different function from the others. That's it. Because remember, CSS colors, it's actually used to um um make you become either more interested in the particular thing that it's being used for. For instance, these people are trying to show that run is an action. They want you to perform an action, it's an action. Get your own website. It's an action. They want you to see them when you come to this particular place. So that's why this place they could have used the pink. I mean, pink could have also been nice. I mean, pink is also a color, but they didn't use it because here they know you can navigate, but they want you to really see the run whenever you come to this particular place. They want you to also see that they have website for sale. That's why they are using shouty colors to represent these things. So when we talk about colors, it's also important for us to understand that it's actually used to um as a call for action. There could be the verb in your website. So if your colors are wrong, the website is already bad. That's why, if you're using the wrong colors for your site will not be fine. If you are not blending your colors well, you're using black, you're using yellow, you're using green, 50 colors, I mean, in one landing page. Who is going to watch that? It's not a children's storybook. I mean, unless it's a children's storybook. So color is also very important. This I did here is not nice. I'm building a website. There's no way I'm going to pack all these colors here. You have your major colors, probably two major colors. I mean, you have a primary color, you have a secondary color. It has to be fit. You have to think about what colors you need. If there is no UI or UX designer, these are decisions that you have to make. Okay, so what colors am I going to use to like tell these people that this is actually a call to action? Oh, I want this when you come to my site. These are decisions you have to make. And remember, because you know color is not in fact color on your site. Nobody's going to see your site. Nobody would like to say in your website where there's plenty colors. So I feel like I'm saying so much. So let's progress. So let's talk about the opacity. Here it is. Remember, I spoke about opacity of an element. It also takes the value from 0 to 1. Excuse me, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Someone is raising his hand. John, what's up?
I have a question, please.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Um, yeah, you said something about UI UX design.
Okay.
So, do you use the UI UX designer for when building a website? I thought it's only for apps.
No, we need UI UX when building a website and building an app, whatever you're building, because they are the one that is supposed to like um make a plan around what you're supposed to build. So as a front end developer, your task is to bring the idea to life. So the UX design, the UI UX does the research, they find out what is actually the best fit from the users, and then they sketch it and give to you to like bring to life. You get, so it doesn't matter if it's an app or a website. You get.
Okay, I get it. I get it. Thank you,
Okay,
darling.
you're welcome. Okay, so can we progress? All right. So when we talk about opacity, so just as I mentioned before, you can see here that when opacity is used, remember, I don't see the difference. So you have to specify opacity to use it. It's no longer going to be like RGBA or HSLA or FFA. No, it's now going to be opacity. And then you state your opacity. If it's 0.1, 0.2, 0.21, remember it's the number between 0 and 1. Now you see the effect. It's affecting not just the div, it's also affecting the text color. It's not just affecting the background, it's affecting the text. I want us to notice that that was like the major difference I wanted to point out between alpha and opacity. And I hope you understand that because it's important. There are times when you want for this to actually happen in the page or building. So that's like what I wanted to like point out. So notice the difference. So this is opacity in play and this is alpha in play. So that's that. So when we talk about background image, sorry, when we are talking about background image, so this is how it's been specified. You have your background image. Inside of you have the URL with a bracket, and inside of the URL you're going to list whatever image you want to add. So it's either you're getting the image from relatively or absolutely. Maybe from an online source, you add the link, or from a folder, or from a file on your VS Code, wherever it is, but you need to like add the link here. So trying it ourselves here. So this pepper gif, right, is from the picture. Oh, it's from here. They already have the file from somewhere, so they are calling it from where they have it. So I want us to like check out if we can get a color from online. So let's look for on splash photos. So I'm trying to randomly get a link from Unsplash and see if it would also display the color, just to prove that we can use links to also get background image. But why we do that, so summarily the idea is that you can just use images to like
Hello.
make your background, just as you can see. Is anybody saying anything?
Yeah, I'm the one saying I wanted to ask you for something.
Okay, I'm listening.
Please, can you drop your WhatsApp number? I still have some questions I want to ask you later. Mm.
Regarding what I am talking about now,
Yes.
I'm listening. You can go ahead and ask.
No, not about this, it's still about the UI UX stuff. Uh,
Okay, that's fine. I will do that later. Or I feel like you can just go ahead and send the message on WhatsApp, or I will send you my. We can talk later. Yeah, yeah. I will just specify later. So I'm trying to find out why this is not happening. This is supposed to happen. So summarily, the idea is that you can use background image as you can use random image or any image that suits what you're designing. Remember, the idea is not just to carry any picture and use picture across. You are trying to like send a message, you are trying to tell a story about what you're building, so you're going to use relating images to do that. So I'm trying to copy the link from here, right? Copy image link. So to do that, you have to copy image link and then paste it on the URL inside the URL. So, but this is proving stubborn. Well, it's supposed to work, but it's not. Anyways, that's the idea. That's the idea. So you inside of your URL, you add the file, you add the file, your image file, or the link from the online source you're using to get your background image. That's all. So once you've added your background image, you can go ahead and now fix in new some other CSS properties that will make sure it's up to date. And also remember, when you're using background images, and not just background images but also background colors, it's important that you know that you use colors and images that do not conflict with the text. For instance, here you find out that if you have eye problem, you not really see this text, or you don't even need to have eye problem to be able to not see the text. If once you're having problems seeing what is reading on the site, it's already bad user experience, and people will no longer want to stay there. I don't want to stress my eyes to see something that's not even going to pay me, and the site is not paying me money. So once I'm looking at announcements, I'm leaving the site ASAP. You get? So you want to make your site user friendly, at least, even though you're not going to pay them, at least they will not have the best user experience and scroll to the end. I don't know if you're following. That's the idea. So when you're using a background color, especially for the background for the color text, so it's not conflicting. You know that it's like if you check out the first color, you find out that everything was dull. You could read out the text even though you are from Pakistan, or whether from where or not from Pakistan, to be able to read it. Nobody has that time in real world to do that. So once I'm not seeing, I'm out. That's what happens. And if you're selling a product, you're not gonna sell them because nobody they see what you they sell, nobody they see what you type. It's that simple. You see, like these things are not they're not like magic. It's just like if you're selling a product to somebody, so you have to be perfect. Like it has to be at least I have to be interested enough to scroll onto it to the last. And if I cannot see what you're writing, I'm out. So that's it. You also have to like take that into consideration. So that's that. So these are examples, and background images set the background image of an element. Remember, it's not just for EP. You could set a background for your whole body. You could set a background for a particular section, for a particular div, for a particular paragraph, and just stuffs around that. So that's the idea of background image. So we have background repeat. It's a CSS property that comes into play when there's a background image. So on default, sometimes when we have background images, they are usually very. Sometimes you could get an image that is actually smaller than what your than the place it's supposed to cover, right? So you could have a background and it's supposed to like cover the whole. Let's say this is our background, and this is the place the background image is supposed to cover, and the image is small, so it's going to like take just about one over just something like 400 pixels here, right? So what the images do a lot of time is it's just going to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat until it fills up the whole width. You get? So it's now going to be one, two, three, four, five because it's small. So it's trying to still get to that particular width it was asked to get. So that's where the CSS principle background repeat comes in. Okay, so my network is back to being faulty. Okay, so it's back on. So you could set it to no repeat or repeat X. If you're saying X, you say, okay, be repeat and be going this side. Oh, let's check it out. What's happening here? Can't see any change. Background image is repeated only horizontally. Okay, so um when it's background repeats and then you're specifying repeat, it's just saying okay, repeat and be going horizontally. When it's repeat why you're saying okay, so as we can notice here, although it's not uniquely seen, but we can see that this particular move color is kind of like it's going to the it's X shifted, it's not coming down to this side, it's just going like this, right? It's because it was specified to repeat X. So that's the idea. So when it's Y, it's going to be coming down or up. So that's it. So you could decide to use no repeat, repeat while Y and all of that stuff. So sorry, I feel like we should go through them. So we could have no repeat. No repeat is like perfect. I don't want it to repeat. So when you don't want it to repeat and it is still small, it's still just going to take only that 400 pixels and stay. So there, then you now talk about other CSS background properties like background size. You have then we have background cover, and then it will now must even if that image is like 2 pixels long, it's going to stretch until it covers the full width. But let's check it out and see. So okay, so here we have background repeat. We have no repeat, repeat X, repeat Y. We have background position. So background position is used to specify the position of the background image. So sometimes we can have an image and okay, so we already have this here, right? So I'm saying that this the background position should be right top or whatever it is. So I'm saying that okay, sorry. Background position right top. That's why this image is here. If this image, let's remove the right top and give it center. If you remove the right top and give it center, it's going to be positioned another place. Can you see? So if you remove this jejely, it's going to be this is where the background is going to be. You get? So the background, the CSS principle, the CSS property, background position helps you to tweak the background to be wherever you want it to be. That's the idea of CSS property, background position. So you could want it to be top right, left top, right, left bottom, or whatever you want it to be. But it helps you to be able to position that particular background to be where you want it to be. That's all. That's all about CSS property. So I feel like something I need to also say is this CSS things they like not like something you could position in. You are tweaking something to be where you want them to be. So you're going to I want it to be at the top, I want it to be at the bottom, I want it to be here or here. That's all like it has to be. So we have the background attachment. So when we talk about CSS background attachment, we are talking about if we want the background image we are using, if you want it to be fixed, if you want it to be scrollable. So for instance, we want this background, for instance, we have the background attachment here fixed. We'll find out when we scroll, the background is not scrolling. Like even if this thing is 1,000, this image will be here, nothing will shift. So because we are using the background attachment fixed. But if you're using the background attachment scroll, oh, it's scrolling ASAP. Okay, so scroll, and then we are removing the F, and then we run this. So once we start scrolling, it's going to be scrolling. I don't know if you are still following. I don't know if I'm fast. I don't know, but I'm trying to like just explain as much as possible because I feel like this is already as self-explanatory as for us as it is already is. So when we talk about CSS background, in summary, right? We have the background colors. When we talk about colors, the colors as you can see here, I'm giving this a background color pink and a text color white. I'm giving these just colors on how different elements just to achieve exactly what we are looking for. When we talk about background images, we want images to be there, just as we've seen. And now, because you're talking about background images, that's where we start talking about background repeat. So inside background repeat, it's either we're using background repeat X. I want it to be repeating and be going X. I want it to be repeat and be going up or down or left or right. Or I don't want it to repeat at all. So we also have the background attachment when we want the background we are using to be either scrollable to be fixed. We also have the background size where we now use where we can actually specify the size we want the background to be. We could have cover, we have I don't know why this is not specifying that. So give me a minute, guys. Okay, so we could just go through that. So the background cover, yes, you should get the background cover definition before we background. Okay, so I just want to ask. I hope like by now every other person is acquainted with searching for something online. Like you're not waiting to come tomorrow before you can get the answer. I'm not even using the right thing. Okay, wow. Okay, there's two more. So we are talking about background size. You have different background size. You have photo. So when we are talking about anything photo, we're saying please let it be exactly where this thing stop. So if you have text, I mean using background auto, high is auto, with auto. Where there's end, where that's end, please I don't want any extra space. I don't want anything extra. That's it. That's what auto means. Okay, so we have background size. We have okay, these are the values. We have auto, we have length when we are specifying the length, we have cover. When you're saying, I mean, if I'm giving it a background cover, I want it to cover the entire place that I'm specifying it for. So that time, that example I used about the background no repeat, where the image is like 400 pixel, and then you have like it's supposed to like spread to the whole screen, but the image size is 400 pixel, and you don't want it to repeat. Once you use the CSS background size, cover is going to spread. Well, even if that is the image is 2 pixels, it's going to spread until it covers the whole image, until it covers the whole screen. That's the idea. We have content. If you're using content, it's going to be that 400 pixel again. That's where it's going to stop. It's not spreading anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So I think that's the default. But when you use cover, it spreads to the specific size that you would like to achieve. So I also wanted to point that out. So we have background shorthand. So this is like we are now going to shorthand every background principle you've learned. So inside this place, this is the example. Inside this place, we are giving it a background color, a background repeat, you're giving it a background attachment and all the notable. I think that's all. If you have any questions, because I feel like this is our time is already up. So I will take questions if there are any, and if there isn't, then the class will be ending soon. Thank you. I hope everyone followed with the class. So I'm open to listening to questions. I feel that will validate if you actually listen to what I said today. Thank you. Sam, questions, please. Okay, we have 27 and there are no questions.
Yeah. Please, I have a question.
I'm listening.
There is something linear gradient tool. You know how to this.
I can't really hear you. If you could be audible, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I said this. I don't know if you know something they call linear gradient. On this one.
Okay. So linear
Is it part
gradient
of?
is also, sorry, yeah. It's also part of what we're supposed to like talk about, but we'll be probably exploring that in our next class. So linear gradient is also a color type. So once you go to, if you go to your VS code, you'll be able to find that, right? Once you go to your VS code, you find that. So you see, like when we went through the example of, it's more like, okay, so let me give the idea. It's So it's like blends of color. So I want it to start with red, but along the way, I want it to now change and become pink, and then change and become yellow. So you're blending the colors and you're making them change at different levels. So W school should have linear gradient, linear gradient CSS. So let's check that out. Even though my system is about to go down, but we have to explore that too. So I feel okay. So this is gradient background. So linear gradients, we have linear gradients, radial gradient, and conic gradients. So the idea is also a type of background image, but now you're not adding an image, you're using color to like create an effect. So you're giving it a linear gradient and then you're specifying the color. And then you're saying I want it to start from red and enter blue and enter green and enter two. If you like add 50 colors, it's going to be inside that place and it's going to like spread and spread and spread until it has reached all those colors. But you have to specify the direction. So let's check this example here. So we have the linear gradient and then we have red and yellow. So on default, it goes from top to bottom. Remember remember how it is being used. You have to add the direction first of all, and then you now start adding all the colors you want to tweak, all the colors you want to blend. If you like add 152 one, it has to be more than one, but then it could go on to eternity. I think you have to like check onto that place you now add and it's no longer adding up. So that's like the idea, right? So here they are blending red and yellow, and on default it goes from top to bottom. So this is linear gradient. I don't know if you like get the idea. So
Yes, yes,
um
yes.
you could also decide to now add from left to right. Okay, to right. So here they added to right. I remember I said on default it goes from top to bottom. So to right now is moving from red and then it's going from red and then it's changing and changing until it came to the right and it's yellow. And then okay, from top left to bottom right. So this is just how you just keep tweaking the colors. You are blending two colors and you want them to fill a particular section div or a particular block element you have, a particular element rather that you have. So I'm trying to like, okay, so these are multicolors. This is not just one. So this is three colors here being blended, and we can see the effect. All these are examples of linear gradients. You can also add transparency to the blend. Okay, all these are linear gradients, linear gradient. Okay, cool. So I feel like you should also look at the other kinds of radial gradients. Let's look at the other ones just before we finish up. I don't know if you get the idea. Hmm?
Yes, 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 yes. I get.
Okay, so this is an example of radial gradient. It sets a radial gradient function sets a radial gradient as the background image. So what it does is you also specify, so this is red, green, blue, and this is what it does. So it's going to be at the center and then it's going to like add up all these colors and make sure it gets them. But it's more like secular, cerular, secular or cerular. Okay, you get my point, Sha. But as against the linear gradient, which spreads and then goes silently, the radial gradient is more like circle. So it's changing the color, but it's going like um in a circular manner. Let's call it that. If that's what it's called. But then that's like the idea. Okay, so I don't know if that like kind of like answers your question. So you this is how it is being used. Closest side, you also specify the linear gradient. You specify direction, and then you start adding the color. It is a background image. It's not a background color. That's that. So I don't know if you're clear, and I don't know if everyone else like what's the idea.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So are there any other questions? Anything background on CSS that I didn't touch something.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening, dear. My name is Vera.
Okay, pardon, sorry. Um,
Fine.
okay, my question is, I don't know how, sorry, I don't know, I might sound so off, but
Shoot.
I've
I
just been
mean, be
seeing,
yourself. You don't have to like
I read
sound perfect.
something that people normally used to, okay, ma'am. I see people normally add color to their images. I don't know how it can be done.
Okay. So let's check that out. Adding color to images. Like after adding an image, they now add a color to the image.
Yes, they will change the image color.
Yes. There's something called okay. I'm already looking for something already with CSS. It can like so that it makes it to be black or white, right? Black and white or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay, just give me a minute. I'm trying to like remember the CSS property that does that. Oh god. Right. Okay. So if I don't remember it right now, I will send it in the group chat. Because there's actually a CSS property that that's just what it does. Okay, yeah, exactly. I've seen it. So the name is filter. So we have a grid scale. I've seen it. Oh shit. So it's great scale. I don't know why I can't find it. It was here just now. Okay, so you can see that first of all, we could add an opacity to a color to a background image. I did not know that one before now. And then this is the color. So you can see that I did not know this one before, and I just learned this one now. So this is the default image, but then we added opacity, and then the color changed. Like an opacity color will change. Um, sorry. The I'm trying to find the hue, the grayscale stuff, but it's the grayscale. That's what does it. So when it's oh god, if I can't find it here, I'll have to type it then. Yes, the filter property. The CSS filter property adds visual effects like blur and saturation to an element. So when the grayscale is 100%, it's going to give you a specific style, and when it is zero, it's going to give you another. Well, let's try it ourselves and see exactly what happens. So it's actually the CSS filter property that does that. So these are all the what happens here. So we have the blur 4 pixel for the first one. We have brightness almost see color choco. See what they happen here. Can you see like how it's changing up the colors here? Okay. So I'm going to send. I don't know if I should send this to you so you can actually now go through them later, but so you can see that it actually happens. So this can even help you like achieve more hover activities. So maybe on hover it's going to be this color or maybe any other color like you want, but it actually helps you to like tweak the images that you have already. So I don't know if that answers your question. So the CSS property filter, so inside the filter, it has different values, and these are the use cases. So I don't know if that answers your question. Edwin.
Yes, ma.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know if there are any other question. Okay. So if there are no other questions, I would take it that we actually follow through the class and that we learned something. So I think we'll be coming to the end of the class. The assignment for the week will be rolled out soon, and that'll be all. Thank you and have a wonderful week ahead. Have a good evening. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You can now leave the meeting. The class have finished. Thank you. Okay. Wow. I see now the love. I can see them. Thank you. Thank you. So when you go through the W3 school class and you have any question, I mean this one is online. Just send the message to the group chat. If I don't respond, any other person, every other person, someone else will like give you a response. Thank you. So my battery is low. I'll be leaving the meeting. Goodbye. Please, you guys should leave the meeting so that we can end it. Leave the meeting, oh.